Hello, and welcome to Kopites Calling with Dave and Nik. Nik is not able to join us today, so I am going to be trying to take us through and dissect what just happened in Bergamo, Italy, for the second leg of the quarterfinal with Liverpool and Atalanta. After the first week, Liverpool was already finding themselves in a position where we were behind 3-0. Last week was just a disastrous week on so many levels. So we came into this game needing to score 4 goals. Take the upper hand, score 4 goals. We have done that before. In the 2020 Champions League, we played Atalanta, and we were able to overturn a 2-0 aggregate advantage that Atalanta had, and we ended up winning the game 5-2. Diogo Jota had a hat trick. It was just a great night for Liverpool. So there was a little bit of an opportunity to be somewhat optimistic about our chances. Slim as they might be, you could be a little bit optimistic. When the lineups came out, it looked really like Jurgen was going to go for it. He made 6 changes from the lineup that faced Atalanta last Thursday, with Alisson in goal, Andy Robertson, Virgil van Dijk, Konate, and Trent Alexander-Arnold as our defenders. In the midfield, we had Curtis Jones, Alexis McAllister, and Dominic Szoboszlai. And up top, we had Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, and Mo Salah. So that in itself kind of looked like we were going to really put the best foot forward and kind of go for it. So when the game began, right off the bat, we looked a little nervy, especially in our own end. McAllister did, but we didn't do anything that we have been doing, which is, kind of having Alisson have to be really big right off the bat and make a great save. As a matter of fact, in the 7th minute, we received a PK because there was a handball in the box by Atalanta. It was a clear handball, and we see Mo step up to take the PK, and he immediately dispatches the PK, takes a really good PK this time, and we're kind of in the game now. It's 3-1 on aggregate. And, we needed 2 goals to push this thing to 3-3, and then anything could happen at that point in time. And what I was seeing when I was watching the game, and I was seeing Liverpool applying pressure in the first half. Szoboszlai looked lively. In the 11th minute, Konate was really strong on one of their players on a break. Everything kind of looked like we might be able to do this. 12th minute, there was a great touch from Gakpo to Diaz and their keeper, Musa, who kind of played a really good game against us last Thursday, made a great save on this as well. Alisson had to actually step up and make a beautiful save in the 14th minute, although it was called offside. So that was really good. Anyway, the game was just kind of playing out with Liverpool applying, just really kind of pushing because we needed to get back into the game. We had, Mo looking strong in the 18th minute, but then Atalanta had a response to us in the 19th where they kind of came back a little bit, and so that was kind of a warning shot that they were still in the game. They weren't going to let this thing just kind of get out of hand for them. They're playing at home. Fans are just singing and just really supporting them. So Atalanta was going to play. Trent, to me, came in and did what Trent does, which he had some nice crosses. He had some things that were happening from him getting kind of more into the midfield, doing a little bit of that, which he's been doing this year. And then in the 21st minute, Liverpool had a really, really nice build-up. And it looked like we just had one too many passes. I don't know. We could have pulled the trigger sooner. We didn't pull the trigger, and it kind of fizzled out. We were forcing turnovers. We were actually playing a pretty good game. And Konate, again, was just kind of stepping up on defense, kind of showing that he is going to be a force on the defensive side for us. So things were kind of, for a fan, it was kind of looking like, okay, this is within reach. And then, we were seeing some things happening with Mo and Diaz. I know at Kopites Calling, we kind of get on Cody Gakpo, and with good reason for a lot of the things that we're on him about. But today, he actually seemed like he might be getting himself involved a little bit. He was actually having a pretty nice first half. We were creating chances. We had good possession. 39th minute, Mo Salah has the keeper off his line. It's a goal he scores. I don't know. He scores that type of goal all the time where he just kind of lobs it over the keeper. And this time he lobbed it over the keeper wide. I don't like getting on strikers and people who try to score and stuff, because it is a difficult position to play, but this is one that he actually should have scored. Had he scored, we're back in the game. It's 3-2. That was a chance that really could have turned the tide in Liverpool's favor. Didn't happen. And then we start seeing Atalanta. They're looking like, hey, we just dodged a bullet. And we're going to kind of show you that we're still here as well. They have a Dutch player, Koopmeiners, who was really kind of getting to be a problem for our defense. They actually scored a goal. It was ruled offside, and it was rightly called offsides. Then in the 42nd minute, Atalanta had a handball that really denied an obvious goal-scoring opportunity for Luis Diaz. The guy, you could see him, he moved his hand to the ball. That should be a red card. It was only given as a yellow. And then on top of that, Luis Diaz got a yellow for dissent because he was trying to explain to the ref that it should be red, but nothing came of that as well. 43rd minute, Trent blasts over the bar, and I'm sitting there thinking, this is the way it's going to go. We're pushing. 2 minutes extra time. Konate was, again, stepping up and being very strong. He denied Atalanta on a pretty good build-up from them. First half comes to an end. It's 1-0. As expected, Liverpool had 69% of the possession. Atalanta only had 31. Liverpool had 8 total shots. They had 1. Liverpool had 3 shots on goal. They had 0. And for the first half, neither team had a corner kick. Atalanta, their keeper made 2 saves, and Alisson had 0 saves. So I'm looking at the first half, and I'm trying to figure out, as we do on Kopites Calling, we try to figure out who had a standout half. 2 names came to mind for me. Ibrahima Konate, I thought he had a really good, strong half. And for me, he was the player that was working extremely hard to keep us in contention to win the game. I also thought that Trent had a really nice first half as well. Coming back from his extended injury situation, it was good to see him start and good to see him kind of get back in the swing of things early. So I was, as a fan, sitting there thinking, Jurgen's going to get in there. We're going to come out second half. We're going to go for it. It's going to be a Liverpool display. We are going to light it up. We have been here before. We know how to do this. Second half starts. Liverpool kind of gets off to a pretty good start. It wasn't great, but it was a pretty good start. And then we see our first corner of the game with Atalanta getting the first corner. And, nothing came from theirs. In the 50th minute, they had a shot on goal. Alisson saved it. And I'm thinking we need to push. We are down 2 goals. We need to push. We need to push forward. We do not need to continue to pass the ball around the defense, turn it around and kick it back to Alisson. We need to get the ball up the field. There was a bouncing ball in the box, in Atalanta's box, in the 51st minute. It was bouncing there. It was available for anybody to get on it, and nobody got on it. There was no Liverpool player around it. And I'm going, okay, all right. In the 52nd minute, we finally saw Liverpool get their first corner. We got nothing to show for that as well. Gakpo had a shot deflected. Again, we see a beautiful Liverpool build-up, and Mo was offside. So we, at this point in time, I'm kind of seeing the writing on the wall, and it looks like Liverpool is having a really challenging time with goals off the run of play. The goal for this game was a PK. I didn't see really any. We were just running out of ideas. The ideas were just not coming our way. There was a free kick that Virgil got his head on. It was a very easy save. Went right to the keeper. We needed Alisson in the 60th minute to kind of step up and make a save. And it is getting to a point in the 60th minute, 61st minute or so where, the only way that Liverpool was going to do anything was they were going to have to gamble and really push forward. And when you do something like that, you are exposed to counters and to, things are going to be opening up for the other team whenever you're pushing that far forward. But I was okay with them trying to do that. I was like, man, let's try to get this game, So I was kind of waiting for that. The game was really wide open, but time was certainly becoming a factor. And we were running out of it. You saw Conte again make a phenomenal tackle in the 63rd minute. And I'm watching Liverpool kind of look like they were going to have a nice little build up in their attack, and they just kind of, in the final third, they just were running out of ideas. Finally, in the 67th minute, you see Jota come on for Diaz. You see Darwin come on for Mo. And you see Szoboszlai being taken out for Harvey Elliott. Jota, Jota was the guy in 2020 who scored the hat trick. So I'm thinking maybe he has a little bit of magic left and something positive could happen from Jota. But Jota has had a long time on the injured list as well. I think he's got some rust to work off. And it was, Darwin for Mo just really hasn't been effective. Mo does not appear to be the same player right now. I can't really put my finger on it. I know if Nik was here with us right now, he'd kind of be saying the same thing. He just doesn't seem like he is. I don't know. He's not playing Mo Salah soccer at this point in time. So Darwin coming on, I'm going, okay, that's okay. Let's see what happens. They get into it, and all I saw was Atalanta have a great attack, and they just barely hit it over the crossbar. It just seemed like every idea that Liverpool had was just not working. 72nd minute, you see Gomez come in for Trent. I think Trent had a really good game. I just talked about that. I think this was more for the fact that, maybe this was a move that was made because, number one, Gomez has been playing pretty well for us recently. But also, I think that this might have been made with knowing what's happening in the Premier League right now. And we have a game again on Sunday. So maybe that was just getting Trent out a little bit so he's more prepared to go on Sunday. I was okay with that. Liverpool just, I know I sound like a broken record here, but they just did not look like they were likely to score. They didn't look likely to score one, let alone two. So it was just, one of those situations, and we have been seeing these situations for a number of games now. Matter of fact, during the game, Nik had a chance to text me, and he basically said that it looked like that Liverpool was allergic to scoring. We just didn't have anything in the final third. I saw Curtis Jones, however, working really hard. He was still kind of trying to make things happen. I wanted to just see a total sellout for goals. We were at that point. Finally, we saw an offense for defense move where in the 79th minute, Jayden Danns came on for Robertson. And I was like, okay, this is the last gasp that Jurgen has. He's going to give Jayden Danns an opportunity to get in there and kind of wreak a little bit of havoc and see what can happen. It didn't happen. And they just, you could see the Liverpool players, there was just a moment in the game where even the players didn't look like they were believers in the fact that they could come back. It was very disappointing to see that they were almost becoming resigned to the reality of what was happening. This was a season that was very promising, and when the draw, as we have said before, when the draw came out and it was Atalanta, I don't know if we were looking ahead of them or not, but you could see collectively the Liverpool players looked like they were kind of done. 86th minute, Elliott had a cross that was dealt with pretty easily, and even at that point in time, Jurgen Klopp took a seat, and he was no longer actively on the touchline coaching. He went and sat, almost basically saying, this is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The interesting thing is, in 2019, we played Barcelona, and we were behind going into the game at Anfield. And Jurgen Klopp basically told the team at that point in time, if we fail, let's fail in the most beautiful way. I guess he used the same kind of line for this game against Atalanta, but there was really nothing beautiful at all about Liverpool's soccer display in the second half. They just looked like they had totally lost their way. The game comes to Liverpool wins the game. Okay, but Atalanta's going through 3-1 on aggregate, and honestly speaking, Atalanta played Liverpool really well these two games, and they were very deserving. And this is a team that's fighting for Champions League spot in the Serie A, in the Italian league. They had a 2-goal game against a team this week and gave up 2 goals. So they went from winning 2-0 to being tied 2-2. So that's the team we were playing. But against Liverpool, their goalkeeper was phenomenal and standing on his head, doing everything he needed to do. And they had a really good game plan. And it was kind of an image of what Liverpool does, where they were going to attack till the end. They didn't need to continue to attack with a 2-goal advantage, but they continued to attack. So I was kind of, I liked what I saw from Atalanta, and they did deserve this moving on in the Europa League after what they did to Liverpool. The final stats, as if anything really comes from this, we had 70% of the possession. Atalanta had 30. We had 10 shots, total shots. They had 8. We had 5 shots on goal. They had 2. We had 1 corner kick. They had 2. Atalanta their keeper made 4 saves, and Liverpool, we made 2 saves. I will have to say that my man of the match did not change from the first half. I'm going to go with Ibrahima Konate as my man of the match. And for the very reason that he stood some people up today. He was very strong on the ball. He seemed very confident in what he was doing back there. And he just really, really was on his game today. And that's what we're going to need. Europa League is out now for us. The FA Cup is out now for us. We did win the Carabao Cup. We do have, and this is one of those things I mentioned before, you don't have a lot of time to just sit around and feel sorry for yourself, because the Premier League returns for Liverpool on Sunday when we go to Craven Cottage and we play Fulham. Chelsea plays Man City. Man City at some point in this run-up will likely drop points. I'm not saying that Chelsea will beat them. Chelsea could tie them. If Liverpool gets 3 points, that moves Liverpool to top of the table. We'd be, if Chelsea would tie Man City, there'd be a tie between us and them, and then Wolves play Arsenal. So anyway, my point on this whole thing is there is still the slimmest of chance that the Premier League could still be something that we could actually win. Now, we're going to have to do that and figure out a way to score, because Liverpool has not scored from the run of play in 337 minutes. So that is, in and of itself, a really disturbing, that's a disturbing stat. And it does not seem that is what we were expecting from this team with the offensive power that we have. We have a lot of players who can get goals and can score goals. We need to find a way to bring that all together and kind of right the ship and get everything pushing forward and try to. We can't afford any more slip-ups in the Premier League. I mean, it's just if the result is a loss, we are essentially done. A tie would not be what I would like, but a tie would still kind of keep us on the outside in the hunt. 3 points is what is needed. Fulham is a team that is, Fulham has played Liverpool really, really, really tough recently, and they're not going to be a team that is going to be just out there, especially playing at Craven Cottage. They are not going to be a team that just, here comes Liverpool. I don't think we have that. I don't think people are just, the name and the crest don't mean anything to people anymore, especially when they see what's happening with the team right now and how our struggles are. It has become a season where we were very optimistic, and that we will be in Champions League next year. We're going to end up in. There's no way. Aston Villa is behind us. We will get points in their remaining games in the Premier League. We're going to be in Champions League, and we did win the Carabao Cup, but that's certainly not what we wanted for this season. We did not want that for Jurgen's last hurrah with the team. We wanted him to go out with a lot more than just that. So it has been kind of something that's rattling around in my brain, and again, Nick had a chance to text me toward the end of the game, and he was basically saying that, there is a time at some point where, as sad as we might be with the thought of Jurgen leaving, and this was his last European night, but as sad as we might be with the fact that Jurgen is leaving, maybe a shakeup will kind of get this team jump-started, and maybe him kind of leaving at the end of the season isn't as bad as we had originally thought it was going to be, because I do recall Jurgen Klopp at one point saying that, there comes a time with every manager where they kind of have run their race at whatever club that they're at, and the fans will start to, I'm not going to use the word turn, but the fans will start to expect more. And so maybe Jurgen leaving could be a positive for the club, because it might just get some of these players who are kind of stagnating, maybe it will get them an opportunity to regain the fire and the desire. So it's tough for me to think about that. I don't really want to think about that, because I just think so much of Jurgen Klopp and what he's done for this team. And I recall even being a fan of Jurgen Klopp when he was at Borussia Dortmund. And I was so ecstatic when Liverpool hired him as the manager. And so that's what I want to remember. I don't want to remember that this kind of season came to a fizzle and we kind of died out. So it's all to play for on Sunday. I think the team has it in them. As I have said many times, I sit here and we do, with Nick, we normally do on Kopites Calling, we are going to analyze the game. We're going to call the game the way we see it. We're not going to sit here and say people did great things when they didn't do good things. But that being said, Liverpool is and will continue to be the team that we are passionate about. We are passionate fans. Both of us are passionate fans. We will support them at all costs. Things are kind of bleak right now, but Sunday's coming. And when Sunday comes, you better believe that true Liverpool fans will be sitting there and they will be rooting their team on and doing everything they possibly can to help this team get over this little dip that they are experiencing right now. And it will be interesting to see what the lineup will be on Sunday. Excuse me again. I know there was last game against Crystal Palace. After that game, and the disaster it was. I know Nicholas was basically calling for Diogo Jota to be in there. He, to me, does not look like he's ready. He just seems rusty. So I'm not calling for that. It will be interesting to see what happens. I don't know. I mean, do you go for, do you put Darwin back in? These are questions. Gakpo did not have a bad game today. He really did not have a bad game. He didn't look likely to score, but he did not have a bad game. He had a couple nice little things in the box, but that's. I think we will see a similar back line to what we saw today. I would like. Dominic Soboslai for me is still a player that I find to be somebody I can't really put my finger on right now. He looked so good early in this game, and then I just don't know what happened, and then he was taken out. Maybe Endo comes back in on Sunday for Fulham. Anyway, so many things to think about with the lineup. It'll be interesting to see how we respond to the situation that we are currently in after having lost today. I shouldn't say that. We did not lose. We won the game, but we lost the 2-game series. That's kind of difficult for some people to think about. Basically what it means is the game against Atalanta at Anfield was the first half. Today was the second half. You do a home and home, and then you take the final score from the first game and combine it with the final score from the second game. So they won the first game 3-0. We won the second game 1-0. You add them, and they win the whole thing 3-1. That's what that all is about. So, but anyway, we do have to figure out a way to get out of this funk. I think Jurgen will get them moving, and we will see a team on Sunday against Fulham that's going to come out and actually really, really put on a display. So that's all I have at this point in time. And as always, here at Kopites Calling, you'll never walk alone.